Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today I'm going to show you my review of what I do when I'm putting out some bird food. Now this is going to be specifically like a suet feeder, except over the years what I found that works for me the best is just peanut butter. And if you'd like to improve on this recipe, you can. You can put seeds in. You can put all kinds of different things that birds actually like. You can look up, all the different main feeds that you can incorporate into this. But today, I'm going to show you what I do. Now, what I used to do is I used to just go over to my tree or on the edge of a fence or something, and I would just put some peanut butter on there. And this is only during the late fall till early spring. And the biggest problem with that is, well, my little furry friends, the squirrels, they seem to get to the peanut butter before the birds do. So today I'm going to resolve that. I'm going to show you what's going on here today. Let's get baking. Okay, so I'm going to show you the whole process right from the beginning to the end. And I'm going to show you how this suet feeder actually works. But first, this is the most important part right here, and I'm using these type of silicone little, I guess they would be like cupcake molds, and I got like 14 for like 10 bucks, but you could just use the paper ones if you like. But there's a reason why I don't like to use the paper, is because well, I thought it would just soil my feeder. These ones here I can just take out, wash, and reuse. So now what do I use for peanut butter? Okay, this is the only one I use because the only thing it's got in it is peanuts. That's it. There's nothing else in it. So all I have it do is I got it sitting in there some hot water for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. I'm just going to pour, say, maybe 3 or 4 of these, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so all I've done is taken it out of the water, and you'll see the consistency of what it looks like. And after it cools down, well, it goes back. So you can see how easy this is to pour now. And you don't want to put too much in and go over. You know for sure I'm going to do that, right? Okay, there's one. So I said I'd pour 4, so I'll pour 4. And there's 2. Now, yeah, you could just take a bunch of seeds that you like. Now, I wouldn't suggest using big seeds because the birds that go to the suet feeder, well, they're different than the birds that go to my bird feeder out there. So I would suggest small seeds. And I mean, this is pretty easy, right? And this is the type of peanut butter that is strictly only peanut butter. It doesn't have like all them different oils in it and everything. And yeah, I did make one mess there, right? And if you're trying to use like the really thick peanut butter, well, you're probably going to have to microwave it or, put it in boiling hot water for a long time. This one here, no. So there it is right there. Yeah, putting some seeds in there would be just fine if you want. But I've been using the straight peanut butter, and they love it. So I'll bring you back when they've cooled down. I'll put them outside for a bit, and then we'll come back. Okay, so while these are cooling down in the snow, let's go inside and let's see how this suet feeder is made and how you could make one yourself. Okay, so let's take a good look at this. You can just see like I've put like a hook on here, and I just attached a cable. Now you could actually just use yourself a piece of rope or whatever you want and a hook at the end. But this is just made out of recycled old pieces of 3/4 by 6-inch fence board. And it's nothing fancy. So I'll tell you something. These cups, these are just like fruit cup kind of thing. Just recycled, and all I did was I got my glue gun and I put them down like this and centered them and then glued them right in there with my hot glue gun. Now you can see on the bottom all I got is two nice screws. I pre-drilled them, and you know, this is about as easy as you can get. I just rounded off the corners here, and you know, you drill a hole through here. I just mitered a couple of 45s, and you know, it's as easy as that. Now, of course, I just put a bead along here, and before I actually screwed this together, I just put a seam of hot glue on the bottom. Then I got my square, I put it up against her to make sure it was nice and level, and then I pushed it down into the glue and let it dry, and then I could come back, pre-drill a couple of holes, because if you don't pre-drill a couple of holes in this old dried out wood, well, it would split. So I put a couple of nice screws in here, and that's it. So let's go out there. I think they're cooled down by now, and we'll put a couple of them suet feeders in there, and they'll drop right in here. Now, the reason why I don't like to use the paper is because, well, you're going to have to clean this out all the time, right? Because they will pick it apart and the sun will come on here and melt it down. So it's best if you don't use it. But I mean, really, it's not that big of a deal. And you just hang it up. I mean, it's about as easy as you could make. And remember, the whole idea behind feeding birds or animals is they don't actually know the difference between something that looks real nice and pretty and, you know, something like this that doesn't look very pretty, right? But it's functional and it works for them. And this gives the squirrels quite a challenge, because it's impossible for them to get to this the way I have it designed. And I'll show you that in a minute, but let's just load this up first and see what they look like when they drop right in there. Okay, so we're back, and they're nice and hardened up from being outside in the cold. I just use a little bit of a plastic knife here just to get them out. And you could see how easy it is. You just drop them in there now, just like that. And we'll put the other one in here. And that's pretty much it. Now, you could obviously tell that if you just use the disposable ones, like the ones that just paper on the outside, well, even if you put this in the sunlight, even like when it's minus 15 outside, yeah, it will start to melt this as well, and it'll just make a big mess on the inside. Then you have to clean this all the time. So I thought, you know, just using these silicone molds, that this would be far better. So when you're thinking about doing this, well, I think this is a much better way than just going with the disposable paper ones. So let's go outside and let's hang it up. Okay, so there we go right there. I mean, it's just hanging on the wire, and you know, it's as easy as that. And you could see how I actually do have a bird on my suet feeder over there, and they will be going on this one too. And it's only them kind of birds that like the suet. A little woodpecker, but they're very tame little birds, and they will migrate over to this one real soon. So you could see how that just hangs there and hangs on the wire. And yeah, the birds in the wintertime, I think it's a good idea to feed them. And I look forward to feeding more in the future. And if you take a look over there, you could see in my tree, I've got this feeder right here. And I just put like some bread, a little bit of bread in there for the squirrels. And you know, it's very easy for them to feed out of there. And on this one here, I think you will see, I know I'm positive that I will see a lot of birds feeding off of them 2 cups in there. This is my regular feeder that I made a little while ago here. And you know, I think it's a good thing. What do you think? So what do you think? I think everybody could make that little project and have a couple of these to go and I figure it's going to take them about a week to empty one, just drop a couple back in, right? And I would say hardness, how hard it was to build that, out of 10, that was about a 2, so I think everybody can build that. Remember, it doesn't matter how pretty it looks. The birds appreciate it. They don't know what a good looking feeder is compared to a bad looking feeder. So thanks for joining me here today. I'll put a couple of links here to at the end here of how you can actually put that guide wire along there, and it's completely squirrel proof. No squirrels can climb, on that wire. They cannot get near, my feeding stations, and I think that's a good thing. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again and see some unique things that I do that I hope you find that are unique too and useful. Cheers.